In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, Lord Baalzebul is described as an archdevil and the Lord of Maladomini, the 7th layer of the 9 hells. He is called the Lord of Flies by most due to his ability to spin a web of lies so tight that even a singular fly would get caught in the web. Although he was once one of the most beautiful and powerful archangels in all of the good realms, his new form belies his true personality. You see, as an angel, Triel sought perfection in all things, leading to his willingness to perform selfish and sometimes horrible acts in the name of prideful perfection of the self. This led to his fall and corruption where, sensing his potential, the Lord of the 9 Hells Asmodeus quickly promoted him to higher and higher offices within the Hells. In times before recorded history, Baalzebul displaced the former ancient Lord of Maladomini and tightened his hold so much that he was able to conspire against the rulers of Malboch, putting a puppet devil named Moloch in power there so that he could rule over 2 layers. Unfortunately, his pride, which had aided him in his ascent to power, was also his undoing. He schemed against Asmodeus himself and was discovered by the Lord of the Hells. He was then punished by having his beauty stripped from him, transforming him into a giant putrid slug, and transforming his fortress into a mound of filth to which he is forever chained. Meanwhile, his rule over Maladomini was stripped away, and the puppet prince of Malboch was slain and replaced. This punishment is to last 1 year for every lie he has ever told to any devil, and since his unofficial title is the Lord of Lies, he might be an ugly slug for a long while yet. Baalzebul has an AC of 19, 540 hit points, and a burrow or climb speed of 20. He has outstanding stats and a myriad of saves and trained skills. He's resistant to acid, cold, and non-magic attacks, and immune to fire and poison damage. He's also immune to being charmed, exhausted, frightened, or poisoned. He has tremor sense and dark vision, as well as a high passive perception, and magical darkness does not impede his sight. He has the trait Decipher Weakness, giving him critical hits on 19 or 20, and is an innate spellcaster that can cast Animate Dead, Detect Evil and Good, Detect Magic, Fireball, Hallow Spell, Hold Monster, Suggestion, Teleport, or True Seeing at will. He can also cast Dispel Evil and Good or Symbol 3 times each, and he can also cast the ultimate spell Wish once per day. He has legendary resistances and the ability to control all insects. He's resistant to magic, and his own attacks are magical. He also regains 20 HP at the start of his turn unless he's taken radiant damage. He also has the trait Stench of the Slug that causes players within 10 feet of him to roll a DC 21 con save or be poisoned, and he can also summon 10 additional zombies or skeletons when he casts Animate Dead. On his turn, he can use Fear of Weakness Gaze, as well as 2 slam attacks. The slams deal 10 to 19 damage and force a DC 21 con save that, if failed, causes targets to lose the ability to use either their arms or legs. The Fear and Weakness Gaze hits all targets in 50 feet with a DC 21 charisma save that, if failed, causes them to be frightened of him and procs another save. If the second save is failed, the target immediately suffers the effects of the Ray of Enfeeblement spell. Baalzebul can also teleport as an action or summon a devil to fight at his side. Finally, he has 2 legendary actions. He can cast Teleport, or he can use 2 actions to cast Insect Gorge, which sends a stream of insects from his corpulent body to deal 8 to 80 piercing damage against a single target. As a DM, I would only use Baalzebul as an endgame boss, and would always situate him within his lair surrounded by the corpses of others who have faced him and failed. I would have him start combat by casting Summon Allies, bringing a Pit Fiend into combat. On players' turns that round, I would have him use Insect Gorge to assault a player, then use Teleport on the player's turn who's closest to his own in the order to be in the optimal position for Fear and Weakness Gaze on his next turn. On his second turn, I would have him use this, hopefully weakening most or all of the party, and then do 2 slam attacks on players or the player who are the most vulnerable. Again, I would use the legendary actions in the same way as round 1. In round 3, I would use Animate Dead to summon 10 or more zombies into the fight to further harry the party and supplement the Pit Fiend. Then, I would do the same legendary actions. From here, the strategy turns into using spells as situations come up, or otherwise just using the gaze attack and slams, mixed with Teleport and Insect Gorge. Should players come close to killing him, I would have him use Wish to restore all of his hit points or otherwise completely alter the battle should the narrative call for it, or if I want the combat to be truly deadly and memorable. In most mythology and religion, Beelzebub is the Lord of Lies and the Lord of Flies, due to his affinity with insects, plagues, and the ability to fly. Originally, Beelzebub was the name for a Philistine god worshipped in Ekron, and was later adapted into major Abrahamic religions as a major demon and a lord of hell. The name itself, however, was adapted from the Canaanite god Baal, which serves as the main inspiration and namesake namesake of another D&D god. In most demonology works, Beelzebub is attributed to one of the 7 deadly sins, and is therefore an aspect of Satan or Lucifer and one of the 7 lords of hell. In older texts, he represents gluttony and envy, though most now attribute him to pride. The true name of the Ekron god from which Beelzebub gets his name was Baalzebul, with Baal meaning lord or god, and Zebub referring to flies or pests. It's unclear from evidence we have whether this god was seen as a patron of flies or one who wards away sickness, which was represented by flies. But we assume now, based on other findings, that the people of Ekron may have actually named their god Baalzebul, meaning lord of the heavens, and that Baalzebub, lord of flies, was a derogatory term used by Israelites to refer to the god as a false one, and its people as flies or pests. In the Testament of Solomon, however, Beelzebul is named as a prince of demons and likened to Lucifer himself, which may have led to the inclusion of Beelzebub in the New Testament as a chief devil and right-hand demon to the devil himself. Beelzebub was described as a lord of hell and even as the most powerful of fallen angels by authors throughout the 16th century, second only to Lucifer or Satan himself. Most associated him with pride and ambition, as in some tales it is said that he led a successful revolt against Satan, but was then beaten and recognized for his cunning by being made the second in command of hell. In most accounts, he rules over the Order of the Fly in the hierarchy of hell, acting as commander and spy over all other lords and captains of hell, to keep the hierarchy in line, and to, ironically, prevent future revolutions against Lucifer Morningstar. In comparing the monster to the myth, we find that Baalzebul borrows heavily from the more modern depictions of Beelzebub, taking his Lord of Flies and filth imagery and putting it into physical form. The D&D Archdevil is also the embodiment of pride and ambition, though his revolution failed and he was punished instead of being rewarded. Despite the differences and crossovers between Baalzebul is an interesting adaptation of ancient and modern religion, and a formidable final boss for any party in D&D. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and comment below, and consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join the Patreon for $1 a month to access videos days before they're posted here, as well as other exclusive stuff like short stories, videos, and more.